game 1 of this best of 3 series. To the bottom right hand side, it is going to be our blue Terran player. It is MajOr. And in the upper left side, our red Protoss player is going to be Strange. So Strange with a mixture of aggressive build orders and macro. Well, mostly aggression, actually. I mean, 2 base and 3 base aggression from him against Marine Lord in our very first series of the day. Let's see what he's going to pull out once again now in the PvT. King Sejong was the map he lost 15 workers to that single Widow Mine on when he was trying to 6-gate blink all in. So let's see what he does against MajOr. If I manage Husky Sai for... Well, actually, this is kind of weird. Husky... It says Husky Sai subbed on my like the thing in the top right of the screen, but it says he followed on my actual dashboard, so I don't know what's going on. I assume it's like a one of those resubs that isn't actually like a resub where you actually have to recreate the sub, but it still counts as a resub, so it doesn't come up straight away or something. I don't know. Thank you very much. Either way, as we do just see, the first game of this series is going to set up with an expansion from both players, so no super early game shenanigans from either. MajOr has got that factory ready to come down in a moment or two. Nice fast gas from him means he's got 100 gas ready to go. Factory comes down, and there will be some form of aggression from him early, even if it isn't kind of super committed. It will be some harassment-based focused opening from him. I guess he could sit back defensive like an early Cyclone, but there's no real need to get the gas the factory up that early if you just want to sit defensively. Especially if he's going to like SCV scout and know it's a natural expansion, and you know there's not going to be like a super fast Stargate or anything. Gonna be fine. You'll see this. Let's see if you actually come down. Going to put an engineering bay down on the natural. I still do wonder about this, this engineering bay, because I oftentimes feel as though it doesn't really block for long enough to kind of be worthwhile at all. So I'm not too sure. I'm not certain. Actually, again, every single time I see this, the Protoss player seems to start rallying their workers onto the mineral patches, which get affected by this. You see, like he's going to go the long way around rather than just rallying it here and mining normally. So I don't know. Anyway, as the Adept and the Mothership Core come in, they'll start to work their way through this. It does stop the Adept coming across the map for a little while, which is nice. Of course, he does get the minerals back from it, so... Do you see Hellion actually being made from MajOr? We'll see if it's going to be a couple of Hellions and a Widow Mine, or if it's just going to be one Hellion to scout and then Widow Mines. Always a few different possibilities here. And as we set up into this, we're going to be seeing that Hellion, first Hellion, moving across the map, and there is the Widow Mine on the way. That Engineering Bay going to be dealt with here in a moment or two. There it is, Cancel coming down. Doesn't lose too much there, Strange, too much mining time. But again, it keeps the Adept back at home. I really just need to ask someone why they do it, because I personally still don't feel it's worthwhile. There's some things we sometimes see players do, and sometimes they don't, so... Anyways. Hellion continues to move around. Twilight and a Robo coming up here from Strange, so... Twilight Council Robo facility setting up over in this main base. We're going to see this Hellion dives in. It's actually going to be really nice. He's actually going to get the scout information he wants. He actually goes for some worker kills, rather than getting a full scout of the main. Maybe a shame, gets 2 workers though, worthwhile. He's actually going to end up with the full scout anyway, so he sees everything. Robo, Twilight. I guess when you see the Robo anyway, you can more or less assume a Twilight Council. There's very few Robo facility builds nowadays which don't have a Twilight Council with it. So it's something you can more or less assume anyway. I mean, the Blink opening is such a common one. It's not really much of a shocker. Now, let's keep it now. We do only see 3 gases currently from Strange, which means without a 4th gas, there is that possibility of a... Without the 4th gas, there's a possibility of seeing the extra gateways coming down again. We are going to be seeing these Marines start to unload. The Widow Mine having a bit of trouble burrowing. It is going to burrow right now. Observer overhead will mean it gets killed off before it goes down. But the Marines doing good damage. And they are going to be getting rid of a few extra Marines there. As you see that medevac. Going to be lifting up those Marines. Moving away once again. Make the engineering bay to always know where the Mothership Core is. There we go! That's what I wanted to know. Thank you, Thermal, finally giving me an answer. I've been wondering that for so long. I really have. Thank you very much for Husky Sai for the 4-month free sub. Appreciate it, by the way. As you see this Marine drop going to come back in. Ooh, Marine MajOr now losing his medevac here. I was just going to be seeing the simulator taking a little bit more damage. Very Dark Ones and attacker stuff for the cheers as well. Going to focus on the game now, guys. And move my eyes away from the chat. So Blink is continuing to come up here, but it's not been a bunch of extra gateways from Strange. It is just 3 gates. He might get somewhat aggressive with it, but he's not going to be able to all in off of this. He will probably just take a 3rd expansion while pressuring a little bit. One Marine actually going to sit over to this 3rd base just to keep an eye on when that is going to be coming on in. We'll see Medevac just going to get ready to drop in towards the main base in a few moments. So Widowman's getting ready to drop here. and just look to get some continued damage done. First Widowmine didn't get a chance to shoot. See a Liberator already comboing up from MajOr as well, going to get ready to come in siege up on this natural expansion. As we see Stalkers going to be spotted on this natural, so he sees where this is. War Prism is moving onto the map. Actually 3 more gates do come down, so Strange is going to commit into the 6 gate all in. So he is going to go for this despite the delay, as we see. Ooh, nice reaction from MajOr pulling that back as the Photon Overcharge comes down very swiftly there. It's kind of interesting though. I mean, all these Stalkers kind of being kept at home just by a Liberator and a Medivac, and of course if Strange wants to get aggressive, then he sort of has to go sooner rather than later. The Liberator here going to pick off 1 Stalker and not quite a second one. Wasn't really a worthwhile trade, as the Widowmines do come down here though. Mothership Core takes some damage, a Probe going down as well. The rest of the Stalkers moving across the map now, and this does become defense mode now from MajOr, but he's looking good. He's got 2 tanks up, he's got plenty of Marines. It actually looks very, very good for MajOr here. I don't think there's going to be a way for Strange to really break this. MajOr's also seen these extra gateways building, so he should know how aggressive his opponent is being. And here we go, it's going to be a blink up from the right hand side. Stim has only just started. He'll probably be one of the main targets of Strange here when he first comes up. And there he goes, moves forward Strange straight onto that tech lab. Tim being targeted down. The tanks will boost into position with the Medivacs, and we'll start to push those Stalkers away. As the Marines and Marauders going to chase it as well. These Stalkers actually committed very far into the base, taking a little bit of extra damage there. 2 of them not even able to blink out correctly. More Stalkers going to warp in once again. A few units will pressure at the front. A tank going to stay there as well, so the front's still going to be protected. Does MajOr have a scan? He does indeed, but he doesn't know where that observer is just yet, apparently. Otherwise, I'm sure he'd take it down just to make his life a little bit easier. Stalkers taking down the back rocks. Obviously, the power of this build on this map is that there is multiple ways you can blink into the main base, multiple locations you can attack from. As here he goes, Stalkers going to blink forwards aggressively into Marines, tanks, and everything. That's not going to work out at all for Strange at the same time. What's across the map doing damage? A single Widowmine picks up 6 workers. That Marine on the 3rd base is going to get taken down by the Mothership Core. And well, we start to see the transition coming in now from our Protoss player, the Robobay the Forge. Nice blink, picks off the Medivac on its way back home. Robobay Forge in an attempt to go into a 3rd base here, but the reality is MajOr has just traded so well early on. He's got plenty of racks up. He's got 5 racks now, so MajOr is really looking to commit to himself anyway across this map very soon and be aggressive with all of these siege tanks. It's looking very, very good for him. So MajOr, I mean, just has to feel confident enough to move out onto the map, and whenever he does, I feel as though he's just going to crush whatever there is for Strange. Strange holding some map control still with these Stalkers, still looking to see if he can get something else done with them. It doesn't look as though he's really going to get the opportunity. Stalkers coming down this side. We're going to see a couple of the tanks do begin to unload, and they do have to actually load back up once again. Stalkers just going to be pushed away by this Marine Marauder force. So they're getting pushed away. You see 4 more depths being added on. The Colossus being added on as well over in the main base. That Warp Prism going to load up 4 depths. They're going to come in towards the natural expansion. So a little bit more damage to be done here. This is very similar to what we saw when Marine Lord was playing, as we do see the Stalkers picking off a Medivac and a tank there. But there's still just so much bio on the ground. How does Strange really fight against this? Stim finishes up just now as, oh, the Stalkers on move command! Well, that's a lot of Stalkers going down, and that right there is just going to be GG. I mean, it was sort of inevitable anyway. Sort of inevitable anyways, but good tournament, good time of the day. Believe it or not, I actually do sometimes get good viewership myself. Can you believe that? Fire Revenge Attacker stuff for the Cheer 100. He says, can't stay and watch, but go MajOr. Cheering MajOr on as we get into the 2nd game. Well, you know what then? Let's introduce him first. To the bottom left-hand side, he's going to be the blue Terran player. He is a MajOr from Invasion Esports. And to the top right, our red Protoss from Kraysgrod, I believe. It is Strange. So, as we set up into game number 2, we will be having a look to see, of course, what these guys will decide to play this time around. Strange, this was the map that was very weird, right? Where Strange, this was map number 3 between Strange and Marine Lord. It was very, very interesting because Marine Lord went for that ranged Liberator range build order, and it was doing very well. But Strange's all in was also doing very well, and there's a really crazy way to start the day. Actually, it was the 3rd game of the series, but it was a very good end to the first series of the day. Of course, if you did miss any of the matches, guys, you can check them out very easily. You can, as soon as the stream is over, you can check them out on the Twitch profile and past broadcasts. They will go up on the YouTube channel over the next few days as well. Early on here, MajOr is once again gas first, but gas first for the Reaper expansion. So just going to be popping that expand down And factory should be very soon to follow as he hits towards 100 gas here. It'll be a little bit later than the 100 gas just because he doesn't quite have the minerals while also expanding. Natural expansion on the way up for our Pros player going into a... actually gas steals Major in the main base, so that's a little bit of a nuisance. That can definitely slow Major down a little bit here with his overall game plan. And maybe it means that he has to change up what he builds here early on. Very difficult to be able to afford the starport as well as, you know, say Widow Mine production at the same time without that second gas. At least initially, you know, at least kind of as the time goes by. Initially you might get, say, Widow Mine and starport up, but then you can't continue to build a medevac and something else, you know, like a cyclone or a tank or maybe just more Widow Mines even. Reaper continue to move around. Again, similarly just going to be finishing up in the main base. Just to be a bit of a nuisance here. Major doesn't actually have any units yet apart from the Reaper, which he's not going to keep at home to work his way through that. Just going to be seeing it coming across towards the upper right side. So we're just going to sit on this upper watchtower. Robot facility has started from Strange. And Major, he's actually going to respond to this gas steal by going for a very fast third command center. So, very fast third command center coming up right now for Major. That is interesting. Way to change things up, and well, I wonder if Strange just gets aggressive. I mean, it's a good time for Major to do this build when he's up a game in the series. So if something aggressive hits him and he can't quite hold on, you know, then he's not out. He gets a third game still to play. But at the same time as well, it's, you know, it's a good way to change things up. It keeps the Pros guessing. If the Pros doesn't go super aggressive this time around, then all of a sudden he finds himself in a little bit of an issue. You'll see this couple of extra gateways coming down in the main base. You'll see a phone overcharge coming down to deal with that Reaper. It's just to add a little bit of scouting information. A couple of Hellions coming across the map from Major, so that's going to be his way of sort of picking up a bit more information here early. We'll start to work his way against those probes. 2 workers killed already, and a few more in prime position. Nice pylon block, though. Actually minimizes the damage there. Only 3 workers killed. If those Hellions could have kept on kiting, that might have been 5 or 6 workers killed instead. So that was a nice little pylon block by Strange. If it was intentional or not, I don't know. Probably was. Probably realized what he was doing. Marines on the way out. Finally, Major's going to get access to a second gas in the near future. As those first 2 extra gateways finish. I do wonder what exactly the plan is from Strange. Major probably just going to go into some siege tanks to help him defend against any potential pressure while going into free bases. I mean, he's got the tech lab on the factory, so he is indeed going to start siege tank production. Just going to go into the siege tank and just play a very defensive free base. Just make sure you can stay here defensively early on. You can see a pylon coming up towards the front. A couple more barracks being added on as well. It's going up to 3 racks. No starport yet. Again, he can't quite afford to go into the starport until he gets his extra gases going, which is just about now with that gas on the natural now coming into play. Observer scan picked up very quickly as well, so we do see Strange. He does pick up on the fact there's a third command center. Sees the starport timing too. Still unfortunate to lose the observer. It is a 75 gas unit, which is expensive to replace. So having to replace that does cost him a little bit. We'll slow him down slightly. As we're just going to be seeing that third base coming up from Strange as well. So Strange going to go into the nice fast free CC this time around. Again, when we saw Strange going into the fast free Nexus earlier, he did end up going for a very aggressive push into the push into kind of his opponent on free bases with kind of 2 to 4 Colossi as his upgrades finished as well. And this is looking to be very similar right now. He takes the double forge, which indicates that he wants a good set of upgrades. And again, when he does this, he generally does get aggressive on the free bases when those upgrades are kicking in. So that is something which is looking very good right now for Strange. It's going to be seeing the southern watchtower being taken, the upper watchtower taken as well by both players. Just contesting for some map control here early. As for Major, again, it's a slow start in terms of tech for him, but his sim is now finally on the way. He's getting his reactor onto his factory. First medevac on the way up. And of course, he'll be set up very nicely in terms of economy here. You can see he's only 3 workers behind. And he's of course got triple mule on his side as well. So it's good income for Major. We'll be able to move that third base into the location sometime soon. He does scan this position over here. That is the most standard location to take. I actually wonder why he scans, because he has seen the base up here. I wonder if he's just thinking if this is a stupidly fast 4 base, but I mean, what else could he be scanning for? It's a weird location to scan, so it's a weird one. We're going to see both players here just opted to take kind of the expansion that's sort of tucked away a little bit next to the main base. That high ground may be going to be the most annoying thing about holding this expansion, but it is harder to push into in other locations apart from that high ground, so Widow Mine gets found, gets taken down nice and quickly. Siege tank towards the front will protect from those stalkers. As the observer actually going to move, only unit moving forwards here. The stalker's going to move back in plenty of time to just minimize any potential damage taken. As that Colossus player on the way up from Strange is 1-1 upgrades over halfway done, so it is going to be a good upgrade lead. He'll probably look to hit with 2-2 while his opponent sits on 1-1. It's the most likely way for him to go, so that he's 2 upgrades ahead rather than just a single upgrade ahead with 1-1 against +1. Basically abuses the fact that the Terran players go for a single Engineering Bay rather than double Engineering Bay. You can see kind of here Major doing the classic sort of out to second Engineering Bay as he had the Armory, so you can go into 2-1 upgrades at the same time. So, well, actually he might actually be able to get the... he might actually only be 1 upgrade behind. Let's see, as we see extra gear is being added on, that's 5 of them. That is just free base production for now. We'll see how aggressive Strange gets as time goes by. Resonating Glyphs being added on as well. Just sitting on these free bases. Major's still playing very passively here, you know, he's not been doing much. He hasn't had a chance to really do that much, of course. I mean, it's been one of these games where, sitting back, you know, he opened 3 command centers, so he hasn't had a lot of chance to put pressure onto the map. He's going to load up a couple of drops now. This is the first time we really do see Major being aggressive early on. Early in this game, so going to be seeing a couple of drops to the top side. A probe already in position here, going to spot this. I mean, this probe probably going to die off. Major will still get damage done. You'll probably be able to pick off this pylon, for example, maybe get a couple probes from the high ground. Depends how well Strange reacts. He should react fairly well, though, with the probe going down so much, you know, so kind of far into the future. He should be able to pull into position. It's exactly what he does. His entire army actually coming up towards this top side, but doesn't overcommit through the gap because he does know that Major might have more units on the map, maybe ready to strike if those units are out of position. So, nice play. Scan there. Just sees if there's some observer. There isn't. Obviously, the fact that Strange knows he's there is because that probe went down previously. A little bit of an army coming around the right-hand side now. So Major, as he sets up into 4th base, it's kind of interesting. We're seeing the kind of roles reverse this time around, as Strange doesn't look to be kind of utilising his 2-2 advantage. He's actually starting 2-2 fairly late after 1-1 finished. It doesn't look as though he'll push aggressively off 3 bases. We'll probably just move him to 4 bases. As you're going to see those units just pulling around the right side. So Major, again, just sort of setting up into 4 bases. The rules was reversed almost because he's the player who keeps expanding earlier than his opponent. I was just going to be seeing a Marine getting picked off there again. Those few Marines and Marauders just backing away a little bit. A few more in towards the centre here. So still just moving around 2 sets of drops basically to keep his opponent busy, keep threatening his opponent while he sets up into plenty of Vikings. Actually, Vikings and Liberators. Double Starport is up for him, so opting to go into double Viking, double Liberator production just to make sure you can trade well against the Colossi and whatever else. A few Stalkers, a Depth, Sentry and a Colossus there going to be looking to push those few Marines and Marauders back. Charges continue to come up here from Strange as well, so going into charge, getting all those Twilight upgrades as time goes by. Taking that upper watchtower now. A little bit of an army from Major, still positioned to the left, to the right. Again, whenever there's an opening, he'll be looking to abuse it. As he's actually going to come in here, he will cancel his 4th base almost immediately. Pylon going to get killed, and the 4th base does get cancelled. So nice little pick up there. This army in the centre does get pushed away by this big Protoss army, though, so does have to be cautious of that. 4 Liberators now being made. It's interesting that he's gone away from Viking production, so going to just go into a whole bunch more Liberators. As you see, the 1 Marine left there to watch that 4th base gets cleaned up nice and quickly. High Templar is going to morph into Archons. Storm not actually researched yet, so it is just looking to be Archon Colossus. No Storm just yet, as Major still have a few units to this right-hand side. The bigger army now collecting together towards the top. Looks as though he'll want to try and push through the top side in towards this 3rd base. With Liberators especially, he can set up a very strong position here. It's going to be very difficult for Strange to push into. I was just going to see those units gathering together in this location. 3 more barracks on the way. So 3 extra barracks being added on right now. I'm just going to see these Marines, Marauders. Just going to be pushing on in here. Liberator's going to get set up, ready to go once again. Maybe. Guardian Shield pops. There go the Liberator's going to start setting up here. Marines and Marauders sim forwards, and well, here we go. Marines and Marauders sim on through. We're going to see these cannons already being targeted down. I mean, the main army of Strange isn't actually here just yet, which means he is actually just taking a lot of damage because he just doesn't have enough units. As he continues to push on through, the Liberators will continue to do damage, but the Stalkers and Archons do get into a good position to clean them up. Liberators will go down, but Major with a big drop into the main base to just continue this pressure, continue to do damage. We're going to see these pylons going to overcharge, and we are going to see them getting targeted down very quickly, though. A third overcharge might be a little bit too much. We'll target down the forges now, not currently researching, but we'll slow down the next and final set of upgrades from the Protoss player. Just going to force those forges to be rebuilt. Still feels Strange actually traded quite well here. He got rid of all of the Liberators. It wasn't a good fight initially, but he kept his Colossi alive. He got rid of the Liberators of his opponent. And he's dealt with this drop in the end quite nicely as well, although those 4 Stalkers don't trade so well against those 4 Marauders, especially with a little bit of micro coming in from Major, just to make the most of his army over here. More bio to this bottom side. There's actually enough Medivacs up right now. There's plenty of Liberators, a Viking or 2 as well, but again, no sign of Medivacs, which is going to maybe hurt to see workers going down in this third base. Major still being aggressive with this drop, as we see the Liberators will set up defensively. Can Strange push into this position? He actually doesn't have any Stalkers left over, unless they are just trailing behind. Liberators going to set up here very early on, and this is it. The Stalkers will blink forwards. The Liberators will go down very quickly. I actually don't know if Major has enough here, because now these Colossi, a little bit of micro as well to keep them safe from the Vikings. Stalkers blink forwards to try and take those down. The Colossi, there's just too many of them, and Major doesn't seem to have an answer. The Liberators are gone once again, and Strange, when he'll move forwards, he'll get rid of that tank, which is firing from a distance, and continue to push on down in towards this south side. These SCVs going to pull away. Oh, a good chunk. 5 workers going down very quickly there. 7 workers going down in total. 8 even now. And Strange just has these Colossi with no real answer from his opponent. 4 Vikings being made at a time. Is that going to help? The +3 about to finish as well from Major is going to help him out. It will be kind of 4 upgrades apiece. 3 on attack, 1 on armor for Major, 2 apiece on attack and armor for Strangers. Here we go, fight on in. Colossi, nice micro with the Warp Prism to make the most of this. The Bioforce starting to make its way through the gateway units. There comes these Adepts to reinforce this, to tank a little bit. Colossi taking damage though, doesn't actually save any of those. 2 of them going down, the third one as well. It was actually Zealots, not Adepts, warped in. As they move on forwards, the Widow Mice will do a lot. Plenty of SCVs have been taken down here. We see the Warp Prism taken down as well. This Viking will be targeted as the Colossus will try to keep on fighting as it reinforces. Strange though, going to be pushed back. It's going to be a hold from Major. What a hold it has been as he pushes this back, and as he sims forward, he may try and just catch that Colossus on its way back home. Low on health will not take much to take it down. The Vikings and the Marauders catch it there, and it does fall. Colossus going down here, and so we see Adepts, Zealots, Stalkers collecting together. A few more Archons also collecting together here towards this 3rd/4th base, or 4th base actually. Strange will have to rebuild, but Major just about able to take that fight. It was a close one. It was very, very, it's a long fight, you know. Players trading for a long, long time during it, and could have gone either way. I mean, Strange with some nice little kind of Warp Prism micro to pick up the Colossi. Messed it up a little bit towards the end, which might have kept them alive just a little bit longer. And we've seen those units just moving over to the right side. Major looking to maybe take advantage of what he feels was potentially a good fight for him. I mean, it was. He did take down a lot of the Colossi of his opponent. He got rid of so much of his opponent, actually. See, these Marauders are going to stem forward, going to start working their way through this pylon. Or 2. There's nothing in position on the 4th base. Some Adepts, Archons, a little bit of bits and pieces of army also going to start coming in. 5 workers going down also from this drop to the top side. There's a 1 HP Medivac is going to unload in towards the 4th base, or the 3rd base once again. I get the 3rd and 4th base mixed up here. But unloading once again, a little bit more damage, even up in towards the main base. Just continuing to trade. Widow Mine's over here. Trading out as Major now taking a significant supply lead. That Medivac is taken down pretty quickly. The Marauder there will go down too, as Major moves his main base orbital in towards a 5th base location. Major with a 2-0 here, I believe. I'm not sure whether it's head-to-head or map score or what is taken in kind of a tie and match score. But it will be decided, and he will move through. Either way, if he wins the series, he moves through the group in 1st or 2nd place. I mean, even moving through the 3rd group in 1st place might not be a good thing, because Bjorn went through his group in 2nd place. So if you go through your group in 1st, he might end up playing Bjorn, which might not be pretty. We're going to see these Zealots Adepts charging on in. Liberator going to siege up here as the Medivac's going to be loading up, and Liberator just continue to try and trade. So continue to try and trade here. More Liberators in production, as we're going to be seeing the +2 ship weapons being added on, +3 weapon armor, Terran armor also coming in right now as these units collecting towards this southern watchtower. Here we go, Zealots, Adepts, and Stalkers with these Archons too. Going to be moving forwards here. Liberators once again will siege up. Going to do a little bit more damage there. The Archon going down. Sentries once again going to be falling, and more Adepts coming in to try and fight. Zealots charging through, but there's just not enough. The Liberators keep on pushing forwards. There's nowhere for them Colossi to go anymore. Liberators siege up, forcing the Stalkers to blink backwards. The Colossi go down. Strange will GG. It was a great start to the day from Strange with a victory over Marine Lord, but unfortunately he will